This week was the Wholesome Games celebration, and this was not only a time where a ton of brand new cozy games got announced, but we also got release dates for some of the most anticipated cozy games of the year. And today we're going to be covering all of it. So as always, make sure you subscribe to this channel to keep up to date with all things new and cozy, and let's get into it. First up, we have the announcement of a brand new 2-Point game, and that is 2-Point Museum. Now, considering 2-Point Hospital was actually the first game I ever played on this YouTube channel, you can probably guess that I am very excited for a brand new 2-Point game. And in this, you'll be able to curate and design your very own museum. But this isn't just about setting up the exhibits, as you'll also have to go out and find the things to fill them as well. So in this, you'll need to send out a team of people on an expedition in search for these rare and well-preserved artifacts that you can display in your museum. That is, if their mission is successful and they actually return. But not only will you be in charge of getting the artifacts and setting up the exhibits, you will also need to maintain them as well. And like with all the previous 2-Point games that came before it, you'll be free to decorate this however you see fit in each of the levels that you tackle. And although there's no release date as of yet, I will actually be playing this next week on stream, so make sure you keep an eye out for that. Another game featured is Hotel Galactic, and this trailer has got me so unbelievably excited because this is a management game based on Studio Ghibli. And considering how Howl's Moving Castle is one of my favourite movies of all time, this is something that definitely caught my eye. In this, you'll transform a rundown intergalactic hotel into a thriving tourist destination, sprinkled with a little fairy tale magic, much like the Studio Ghibli films. And in this, you'll be able to build and renovate rooms. You'll also be able to change up the decorations to try and tend to different guests' tastes. And you'll even have to edit the hotel's layout to try and help guests find their way easier and also help the staff get around more efficiently, so everything can be done faster. But in this, you manage far more than just the hotel itself, as you'll also be in charge of harvesting resources from the island in order for you to do all the work you need to the hotel itself. And all the while, you'll be able to meet brand new friends with a cast of quirky creatures. I think the thing that's really caught my eye about this is the fact that it's more about the management and less about you doing absolutely everything yourself. So for example, your character won't be the one that has to craft and research everything by themselves. Instead, different members of the team will be able to do that for you, and workers will even be able to pass down their knowledge to one another to help them become better and more efficient. I can't wait to follow the development process for this, as this looks like it could be such a spectacular game. Next up, we have Cat Cafe Manager 2. Now, I am a huge lover of Cat Cafe Manager, and in fact, this was included in my very first Cozy Games video on this channel. And thankfully, Cat Cafe Manager 2 looks to be even bigger and better. And they've even changed up the art style to make the cats look even cuter. In this, not only will you be able to make the cat cafe of your dreams, doing everything from decorating it, buying new equipment, to setting the menu and serving customers yourself, you'll also be able to adopt any stray cat you find with the hopes of trying to rehome it. But alongside all of the restaurant management style gameplay, there is also a story that sees a magical force in the town twist people's hearts to feel lonely and isolated. And with the help of a fairy feline that possesses your phone, you'll set out to cure them with cats, coffee, and community, which seems to be the key to happiness. Considering there are so few cafe and restaurant management games that seem to be truly cozy, I'm so excited to see what they managed to do with this one. Next up, we have Instance, and I can just tell that this is a game that's gonna make me want to cry, as this seems to be a scrapbooking version of Unpacking, where you get to craft and decorate photo albums as you figure out the order of the photos and piece together this family story across the generations. But of course, a cozy game wouldn't be the same without a feline friend, so if you get stuck at any point throughout the puzzles, you can actually ask this adorable cat to help you out. This looks to be so heartwarming, and I love a slightly different take to a gameplay style many have loved before. And the hardest part about seeing this trailer is sitting here waiting for a release date. Next up is Make Room. And if you're looking for a cozy decorating game, then this might be the perfect game for you, as this will allow you to create anything from a kitchen to a living room, gardens to camper vans, and so much more. But the part that really caught my eye is the fact that you don't just have to randomly decide how you want to decorate each room, although you can do that if you want to. But villagers on the island will also send you their requests as well, giving you specific objectives that you have to meet in order for them to be happy, thus giving you some direction to your decorating. And not only is there over 1,000 objects to decorate with, you'll also be able to make your very own furniture and change the size of any object to perfectly fit the space. And don't worry, with a game that looks as beautiful as this, there's also a camera mode to enjoy as well. And as someone who is decorationally challenged, in that I find it really hard to decorate in literally any game ever, I feel like even I will be able to make something that looks remotely good with all of these adorable items in the game. Next, we have Ritual of Raven. Now, ever since I finished Wildflowers, I've had this little hole in my heart where I've been waiting for a brand new story-based farming sim to come and fill. And finally, I think I might have found a game to do just that, as this is a cozy-based farming sim where you don't actually need to do any of the farming yourself. Instead, you collect and enchant what they call arcana constructs to grow a herb magical garden for you. But that's not all that's special about this, as this has a whole entire story that gives you a purpose to your farming as well, as the game will see you fall through a mysterious portal. And although these portals were once destined to help people travel between the worlds, the ritual went wrong, not only making them unstable, but they began spitting people out randomly, and all those who were involved in making them lost something precious to them. And after falling through one of these portals yourself, you meet with a local witch who gets you to help them on their quest to search for their missing familiar. And with crops that change with the moon phases and magical neighbours to befriend, this looks to be a really fun take on what it means to be a farming sim. Next is Morgan Metal Detective. Now, I was lucky enough to get a sneak peek at this earlier in the year at a convention, and I've been excited to see it ever since. This is a first-person adventure game set in Cornwall, and in this you play as Morgan, a teenage girl visiting the coastal town with her mum after the passing of her grandfather. And after discovering he left you his old metal detector, you decide to explore the area in search of hidden treasure, with the help of some of the locals to give you hints and clues as to where to look. But metal detecting isn't everything that you do. You can take pictures, you can collect stickers, and even record things with cassette tapes, all to put in your journal, which you can customize yourself to keep track of your journey. And I love that not only is this such a unique take on a cozy game, but it's also based in one of my favorite places in the UK. Then we have Super Loco World, and as a mini motorways lover, this seems to be a game that's right up my alley, as this will see you build railroads to deliver goods, and as you grow your rail network, you will also be able to see the villages that surround them grow into bustling towns. And one thing I like about this is the fact that it mixes realistic elements, like for example not having your trains magically turn around when they reach the end of the line, with a really easy point-and-click method to placing the tracks. But not only will you be in charge of making the rail network itself, you'll also be in charge of helping the trains navigate safely, setting anything from speed controls to posting signposts and traffic lights, and so much more. And alongside all of this is an economy that you need to manage by making sure you fulfill each of the town's needs in terms of goods in order for them to grow. I love the idea of having a management game that balances fun with puzzle solving elements, and I really do look forward to this. Next up, we have Mythwrecked. Now, it's been a while since this was first announced, but I've kept it on my radar ever since, just because it's such a unique concept. And I'm so glad there's a demo that you can play right now, so we can finally get a taste of what this gameplay is all about. As this is truly such a unique concept, as this is a story sandbox. And in this, you play as Alex, who's on a much-needed vacation when she suddenly winds up shipwrecked on an island long thought of as a myth, as this is home to the Greek gods themselves. The only issue is when you start talking to them, you realize that they've lost a fair chunk of their memories. And it will be up to you to not only track down each of the gods to find them, but to also find their lost treasures and return them to the correct owner to hopefully trigger some flashbacks and help them regain their memory. The twist of the game is, though, that figuring out whose item is whose will require a little bit of detective work, relying on you to be able to strike up conversations with the gods in order to gain information which you can then piece together to figure out who the item belongs to. But you do all of this in the hopes to not only help this fractured family out, but to also find a way home for yourself. And with the story being based around the importance of friendship, family, and community, this seems to be not only a fun story, but a beautiful one as well. Speaking of games with brand new demos that you can go and play, we also have Tiny Garden. Now, this is a game we have spoken about before, as this is heavily inspired by Polly Pockets, which is very much a blast from the past for all of us millennials. And this is a strategy game inside a plastic toy that will see you plant, grow, and trade your vegetables for new plants to customize your very own toy set. And with there being no death, no hurry, and no way to fail, this truly is a relaxing experience. And now there's a demo that you can go and play yourself to really see what this game is all about. That's it for brand new cozy game announcements, but let's cover some of the most anticipated cozy games which have just gotten release dates. First up, we have the Plucky Squire, which is coming to the Nintendo Switch September 17th, which is so much earlier than I thought we were going to expect this. This follows a bunch of storybook characters as they discover the 3D world that awaits them from outside of the pages. The issue is, not only did Jot and his friends jump outside of the pages, so did Humpgrump, the villain of the book, who was able to flick to the end of the story to find out that this battle was not one he was destined to win. So Humpgrump decides to kick Jot outside of the book and changes the story and each of their fates forever. So it's up to Jot to restore the happy ending by jumping between the 2D and 3D worlds to save his friends. I feel like the puzzle solving mechanics in this are going to be so interesting and so unique, and I'm so excited to be jumping into this game in literally just 1 month. Speaking about games releasing soon, we also got news that Tiny Glade is coming September 23rd. If you've somehow missed the most anticipated cozy game of the year, then let me introduce you to Tiny Glade, a relaxing game all about doodling castles. And even though decorating is not my forte, it's really hard to make something that doesn't look good in Tiny Glade, as you can do anything from placing buildings, walling, turrets, to even terraforming and placing the paths. But by far my favorite aspect of this is being able to customize literally everything. You can customize the color of the stones on each of the buildings, to the types of windows that you place on them, to even being able to knock down certain parts of your castle to give it the look of one that's been hit by the elements of time. And to top things off, Caravan Sandwich also got announced to be coming out September. This is a narrative-driven exploration adventure based in a sci-fi world, where you're on the hunt for your missing sister. With no combat, no death, and no timer, it's just you, a van, and a mystery to uncover. This game is set in a post-apocalyptic world, one in which humans destroyed and most left after the planet's destruction. And as you explore, not only do you get to meet the humans who decided to stay behind, but also the robots who were left. The demo of this was so interesting when I played it. It truly is a cozy game with a vibe that I've never felt before, and I'm really excited to see how this runs on the Nintendo Switch. September is looking to be such a busy month. I'm genuinely thinking I just need to have a default email and text message response that's just, sorry, I can't reply, I'm too busy playing cozy games, because that's going to be one of the biggest months of the year. That's it for my cozy gaming news. Let me know which game you're the most excited for in the comments down below. And if you want to see some criminally underrated cozy games, click this video here.